turbines on top of houses, but you can put solar panels. The first year, you do mechanical, electrical, and civil. If we were a country which is mainly tourism, we would leave with renewables only. Other things started kicking in. Robberies, stealing of cars. Yeah, I would have either been dead or in jail. If you are a people's person, they'll bury you. No, don't die as yet. Had I walked around with my degree in my pocket, I would not have been where I am.
Because there's a lot happening there.
If you don't study and play, you'll end up driving taxis like Silas. I was so hurt. Then the person was not a community member. They were living a different life. Otherwise, the community would have buried the person. I had to look for a passport. There was no time to even tell the mining company that I'm not coming back. I never went back till today. Hi, this is Silas Zimu. You're tuned into the NepoXchange Podcast. Enjoy. I would probably been either dead or in prison.
Why?
Because I used to do very, very wrong things. Firstly, I didn't do my matric. When we were supposed to write matrics. In 1984, and I'm giving away my age, we actually started the riots. In the Val riots, 3rd of September 1984. And then we were chased out of school. No school could register us. So I actually did my matric on my own, helped by people that were teachers in other schools. And when we were chased out of the schools, then other things started kicking in. Robberies, stealing of cars. Yeah, I would have either been dead or in jail. So I don't have another option to tell the truth. All I can say is that I thank God for having saved me. And I thank God for showing me that there's other things you can do in life and still be successful.
Because my next question was then going to be, what brought about then the shift or the change from what you were doing at that time, the things you used to do, to obviously, so that obviously I think it also just sort of brings it home to what brought the change.
So being arrested and being moved around police stations and prisons without family knowing gave me a big wake-up call. And I've got injuries that the boys thought I was dead when I pretended to be dead, and then the next thing I wake up. So, and at the time when you have a bail of 15,000, you must know that if you are to be imprisoned, it's 10 years. And I remember being fetched, and I was sitting in a taxi, at the back seat of a taxi, thinking of things that I didn't know, because the uncles were brought in muti and all that. The judge has to sleep and give me free bail. It didn't happen. and I was sitting there at the back seat, thinking it can't be the only thing that one can do. So I then did part-time teaching at the local school, maths and science. And the principal, the deputy principal in particular, liked it because all my students were passing. And even those that, they were told, you are so stupid. And I used to hate to hear them being demoralized. And so I would sit them down and then we work out. And then I had friends that got appointed in the mines, Val Reef Gold Mines in Orkney at the time. That said, look, we think you can come in. If you come into a mine and they like you, they give you a scholarship, you go study mining engineering at Wits. So I said, look, I dumped teaching, and weekends I was driving taxis. And And one day I was driving a taxi, and a beautiful girl with the uniform of a school where I was chased away stopped the taxi, and I stopped, and she came in, sat next to me, beautiful. And as I was about to say, "What's your name?" she actually said, "Are you Silas?" I said, "Yeah, you know me." "Yes, I know you. So how do you know me?" "No, at school, the teachers always tell us that if you don't study and play, you'll end up driving taxis like Silas."
Yo.
I was so hurt.
Yo.
This can't be right. When you get written off like that in life, I then opted to join my friends in the mines. We were staying at the hostel, working every day, 5 o'clock in the shaft, up and down with people that they were the age of my father. And there were lots of killings then. The Sutus, the Zulus are fighting until the deputy principal where I was helping the kids. She's married to a bishop who works with Bishop Tutu.
Okay.
So when the British and the ANC came up with a program to train South Africans, I was in the first top 100, and my name was put in by that deputy principal.
Okay.
And that changed my life. I left the hostel. I didn't know what I was called for at home. I mean, I actually thought my girlfriend was pregnant. When you work in the mines and you go home once a month, yeah, a girlfriend can be pregnant, So, but then when I got home, it was a brown envelope that says you've got a scholarship to go study in the UK.
Okay.
Now I had to look for a passport. There was no time to even tell the mining company that I'm not coming back. I never went back till today. So that's what changed my life.
Okay. You've had quite a journey, I think, but also from what you've just shared now, there's two takeaways. Is that obviously there could be people who are obviously misquoting or speaking bad about your name, but there's also other people in the rooms who know of your impact and see you, like the deputy principal, who then obviously propel you and sort of like share information with you or also about you that can obviously change your life. And that's quite amazing. I think that's quite a great takeaway. And also we're glad that you had that change as well. And we're here now. So yeah, amazing.
Yeah, look, as a comrade, nothing would happen without a few of us in the front. So, and in the township, when there's fight, people get killed. Bullets everywhere, necklaces, tires everywhere. Yeah, so a lot of things have happened. That's why I said either one would have been dead or in prison.
Okay. So coming from that whole also deep talk and I think deep conversation, when all is said and done and you've had a busy day or you've had a busy week, what do you then do to unwind and sort of like get yourself rid of, because you're such a busy person, but I can imagine that you also need your quiet time. So what do you then do during your quiet time?
No, I sit at home. Sometime from a busy day, I sleep in the car.
Okay.
I just switch off and sleep in the car. No, really not sleeping, but relaxing. And when I get home, I've got a room that is called Daddy's room.
Okay.
And when I'm in that room, everybody knows that, hey, you actually heard him whispering. Who wants to talk to Brian? He's relaxing. So I sit in there, I relax. Then music keeps me going. And then I don't open laptops during the day. Open it only at night. And I have to quickly scan what is needed, what can be pushed aside before I sleep. But when you are a leader, there's no time to relax.
Yeah, I was about to ask, do you even have day offs?
One cousin of mine who's very, very well off actually said to me, think of it. If kings like Abu Shaga were sleeping, they would not have followers. So when you are a leader, you must always be awake. You must know where your community is, your surrounding, what's going on around you every time. So this thing of sleeping 8 hours, I don't know who
Doesn't
came
work.
up with it. That's what made a lot of us poor, because we spend too much time sleeping. People who are well off, they don't sleep. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And coming from that as well, do you have any interests or hobbies that you are passionate about?
Hobbies.
Yeah, well, interests. I know you don't get time off, but when you are in daddy's room, besides listening to music, is there something that you do? Do you watch soccer? Do you
No, soccer
watch
is
any?
a main one for us Daggies. But
Yes.
my team is not doing very well of late, and hey, I hate watching soccer. I
Should I
tried
guess what's your
yesterday.
team?
Don't guess. I was half happy last night, and then right in the last 10 minutes, again a draw.
Okay.
But we've got an interesting club in the Val, where about 200 of us. We came together and formed a burial society where we buried 10 members of your family. And that thing is now keeping us so busy, and it's growing to a point where we've now taken it out of all mutual. We can do it ourselves. So if any member passes on tomorrow, there'll be money to bury. And then we extended it into investments, and that keeps us too busy. So, but it's interesting. So you're in the board of these things. There's lots of money of people that they put in, and you need to see where it gets invested.
Take care of it.
Yeah. And up to now, there's been one investment where we lost. The rest, the guys are happy, and we. Not all professionals. Some are people that have got taxis, they are painters, but we're all friends who know one another. And you can put any amount in the investment. I mean, they're putting lots of money.
I love that.
So that is the interest that I've got at the moment. And the next step is for us to fund young boys. There's boys who are doing mateki, elokshini, they're washing cars, they don't have machines, to see how those can be assisted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. I hope that does happen, especially for the young boys. But I also love that your interests still remain around community and saving people. So that also speaks to what
A
you
week
do on
does
a
not
daily.
pass without me being seen in the township.
Okay.
You know, I've lived like that. They made me who I am. And I'm telling you, when you go to the Val now and you want, they won't know when you say Silas, because they don't know the name Silas. They've given me a name that I won't say now.
Okay.
But even with my surname, they'll tell you, you'll find him at this place or that. You know, it saddens me when I go to a place and I look for a person. They say, who's that? Then one says, no, it's that guy who, remember the one who used to stay that side, you know. So nobody knows the guy. You know, now in the suburbs, they also don't know you, because your neighbors don't want to talk to you. So how do you live? So township for me is we can't leave our townships. They need role models. They need to always see that you are there. You know, yeah, they can be a pain sometimes, because you know, a car wash is 50 rand, but when it's you, it's 200 rand.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
because they
yeah,
know you haven't. Although that's what they will say.
yeah, but no, yeah.
But I really do love that sense of community and making sure that we are helping each other. So even the burial society. So that's quite great that there's still that growth also within the township community.
You won't believe me when I tell you that. I mean, I had lost both my parents. I've lost two of my brothers and a sister. Obviously, you invest, you put money up front. You have to bury your loved one. But at the end of the day, when I look at how much I've spent,
it's a lot.
It becomes zero, because of the money that the community and the friends bring.
Yeah.
It comes at different stages, but at the end of the day, I'm not lying to you. including, I mean, the biggest funeral was my late brother. We had like 4,000 people
Mm,
with 4 memorial services. It was hectic.
mm,
And when I sat down after his burial, I thought, yeah, ngilahlekelwe.
mm.
Then we started counting monies coming from different churches, and all of a sudden, that money equals the money we've spent.
Yeah, yeah.
If you are a people's person, they'll bury you. No, no, don't die as yet.
No, I'm not planning on it. I don't know God's plan, but I'm not planning on it. So I was just to say that so my siblings and I complained quite a lot about my mom, saying she has a lot of societies and all these things that she's always giving money to. But whenever there's a ceremony or something, we're like, okay, now it makes sense. We
Yes.
see what that, like,
Yes.
because the relief it brings, obviously, in terms of not having to worry too much about the
Exactly.
spend, while you
Exactly.
also have other things that you're dealing with.
And you
So
must
that
learn
helps.
from what your mom used to do. And
I'll
now that you
start- I'll
mention
start
it, I'm the one that was sent every Saturday. There was a burial society called Pontompate in the Val. So every street, 2 rand, we used to take it to one house for when there's a funeral. That person should be buried. And that's where the seeds are coming from.
Okay. You know, they really do help. I know that it also sort of brings relief, even to, especially in the villages. So I'm from a village, and the villages, obviously, because there's people who obviously only depend on grants and all of that, so they don't have. But when they have these community burial societies, so it's not a big life cover, but
Yeah.
when you have these burial societies, as well as what they call tushanang,
Yes,
they also, so the
yes.
community in different sections where I come from,
Yeah.
there's also 10 rents. So each household
yeah.
gives 10 rents, and those 10 rents can go up to 20K, and they kind of do help bring that kind of relief. So
But I'm
it's
sure
a
you are
good
aware
model.
of people who are not participating in those. And sadly, when something happens to them, a person stays for 2 weeks at a mortuary. That's sad.
Yeah, it's very
And
sad.
when I get such news, I then understand that the person was not a community member. They were living a different life. Otherwise, the community would have buried the person.
They
Because
would
you still
have
get
support.
requests from people that don't know you. You know, radio producers would call and say, "Hey, we got a call, man. This person needs." I don't mind wheelchairs, and I've bought many wheelchairs for people. But when they say that this person has got no money to be buried, I said, but our chums, it means that person is not a person, a people's person. Why should I bury him? You know. But you do it because then it's a request, and a request you can't say no to.
Do you have any film or book that has recently impacted your life, or that you sort of can recall and you say this has sort of changed the way I think about 1, 2, 3?
It's actually interesting that it's a movie that was done by my daughter.
Okay.
Savage Beauty. So, you don't know what people do when they're acting until I was called to say we're about to launch it. Come and be part of the launch. Red carpets. Daddy is there. And then you watch this thing with, there's sex, there's this.
I was
there's
about to
this,
say
and I'm like,
it was uncomfortable watching, because
Yeah.
she's really good at that one.
So she then had to explain to me what they do. They, the things that they cover them with, and they look like it's hair, it's not hair. And from that, I then just realized that, look, I'm too naive. Some things I should let go. When it was released, then people were like, wow, wow, wow. And I was like, okay. I had to change overnight. And that changed me in thinking that other people's children that are doing such parts in movies are not doing the right thing.
Okay.
I now understand that it's not like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I was coming from the old school. So when I see such parts in other movies as well, I'm like, oh, okay, okay. So that movie actually changed me. Had she asked me before she did the shoots, I would have probably refused. You're
Said
not
no,
going
yeah.
there, you know. And yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I respect that. I actually now have a question because you mentioned that you're old school. So from especially having you as somebody who's in a more traditional career, when she chose or having a famous daughter, and you also said your son is also a DJ. So having them then choose careers and entertainment and the arts as an old school, how was navigating that conversation like?
Yeah, it was not easy. So I forced all of them to do degrees. We
Okay.
sit down and we talk. This is what you're gonna do, you know, and nearly all of them tell me, after I've done the degree, you're not gonna stop me doing other things next. No. And thinking that the degree would convince them to continue.
A lot of parents say that
They're not.
with young people in the arts. They
They are
always say,
not.
I was
They're
hoping."
doing the opposite. But I had to accept that they're doing what they like.
Yeah.
And they all into social things, people related things, but they have degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it must also, I think, also be sort of rewarding now, seeing that you let them do what they do, and looking at your daughter obviously doing so well, also as a quite a great actor, and seeing that obviously she's on Netflix and these shows obviously go internationally. To this day, I still see on TikTok people still recommending the show. It's currently not. I think they don't have a new season now,
No.
but people are still recommending that show. So I think it could be rewarding, obviously, seeing some of her
Yeah.
achievements that she's been able to achieve.
Yeah, look, the rewarding is seeing her doing what she's happy to do. It does come with interesting challenges if she has to decide whether she wants to stay in Los Angeles or South Africa.
Yeah.
You know? The more
Those are
she
nice life
delays,
problems. That's
the
what we
more she
call nice
delays, the
life
better
problems.
for me. But
Yeah.
I think we're gonna lose her to the US,
I mean, she's talented
which
like
is
that.
good for South Africa. People say it's not about us only; it's about the country. The the degree, I get comfort that they listened to me when I said do degrees, and the degree, my biggest comfort actually. And I mean, she did commercial law.
Okay.
Third born Zanele did finance.
Okay.
UCT with an expensive accommodation for 3 years. Zanele is doing what we're doing here. She's doing podcasting.
Okay.
She's managing the DSTV Delicious Festival. And you know, I get free tickets, so why worry?
You see, there's so many perks and
Temba has
rewards.
been DJing with DJ Black Coffee. He's now DJing in big restaurants like Abu Tempo.
Okay.
Goes all over. And he still has to finish his degree, though. So he's still studying.
No, but that's rewarding that they also listen to you and do the degree, but also you also let them do what they like. So there's a balance and the
It's only the firstborn that
compromises.
did nearly what she studied, the BCom, and she's working for one of the SOEs, which I'm not going to mention. Utumi is the only one that really did something that relates to her course, but she's very reserved. She's a very reserved person. She wouldn't be doing things like these movies. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, I'm glad that you also you're able to navigate those conversations, but you also able to watch your daughter without having any worries.
You know, when the first 6 episodes were out, we watched them as a family.
We had a watch party.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, this person. Oh, wait for the next one. And I'm like, hey.
Because there is a lot happening there.
Yeah, so they call me Mkulu in the house because I've got a grandchild now.
Okay.
And my wife
Oh
keeps on saying,
yes,
Mkulu,
congratulations.
Mkulu, Mkulu. Oh, no. No, thank
Congratulations,
you.
Mkulu.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So we're now gonna get a bit more serious in terms of your career. So what are some of the significant lessons you would say you learned since you started your career?
Firstly, you must be down to earth. Um, had I walked around with my degree in my pocket, I would not have been where I am. When you have a degree, you still have to be trained everywhere, whether you're a lawyer or you still have to be trained. And when I joined ESCOM, I was trained by technicians who never had degrees. And I had to make as if I don't know anything because I needed to learn as fast as I can the practical things that the books never taught me. Now, those people, their experiences in their heads, it's not written down. So you first must make friends with them. And sometimes it's a painful thing. During that time, 1992, it was still apartheid. You know? And when I was seconded from ESCOM head office to Letabo power station, there was a Datsun 1400 Baki that I was using in the station, in the plant, to go around working. Because really, there's no training. It's practical work where you gain the experience. Going with these boys, and then they would take their bakis home, and I would give my baki to a PA of a power station manager who's white to take home, and I would go to a taxi every day. You know? But then when promotion came, all of a sudden I'm their boss. But they knew that this is the boss that's not going to oppress us and all that. And when you are hired to do a task or to do a job, do it to the best of your abilities. Don't stop to ask questions. Because if you don't ask questions, nobody's going to know that you need help. Okay? Because if you do things well, I'm not lying to you. I've never applied for any job. I just got promoted because of people who have seen what I've done before. And that's what kept me going. So when people want to look at my certificate, I struggle because I don't know where I've kept it.
You don't have a CV.
No, it means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. All it's helping me is on the salaries and to get the job. But just to me, going around or starting a meeting to say I've got a master's in this, no. And I've seen people making those mistakes, putting degree ahead of their careers, and then you don't know who becomes your enemy indirectly. So you have to be a good listener, and when people talk, you must keep quiet until they finish. Then you talk, because you gain respect by doing that. So not all of us are gonna end up being leaders. Some still has to do the dirty work. There's still people who are still engineers at ESCOM that joined with me on the same day. You know, but I'm sure they are well looked after and don't want to be managers. The others don't want to be managers. So the respect, using the resources that you get given optimally and not for yourself, and ensuring that you care for customers. You know, everybody has got a customer. Because if customers start talking good about you, you're made. You're made. You're made. Because whoever talks bad about you, you don't have to defend and protect yourself.
Yeah.
Those are the people that will say, you cannot say that about Silas. And that keeps me happy. That's why even now when they say I've got a problem with electricity at this and that, nationally, I help people every day. Yeah. And customer care I've learned by mistake, because I didn't study customer care.
Yeah.
But while dealing with customers, they're in a queue, they're coming to pay. Then we've got bathrooms for staff. I've had a bathroom, and I used to say, no, go, use the bathrooms. You know, you're standing in the queue the whole day, then you get told that you can't use a bathroom. So simple things. Then and care for your staff. Okay, you can't be a manager with a bathroom of your own, with a soft toilet paper and a toilet spray, and then a newspaper for the staff toilets. You know, wherever I go, those are the first things that I change. When I ask for the bathroom, sometimes it's not because I want to use it. I want to see how it looks.
What the environment is like. Okay.
Yeah.
No, what I like is that there's so many lessons that you've just shared, and I think what stands out for me is that you are very you take serving so seriously, and I think that's quite amazing. Also, your love for people. Earlier we spoke about your love for community, but I see also that your love for people and helping is quite great. So I really, really like that. All right. So I thank you for those lessons, and I really, really hope that our listeners take them into account, especially the young people as well, to take their job seriously. And thank you for joining us as well, and coming to our podcast. We do have a bit of a token of appreciation, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
I should thank you for the opportunity. I take this as a way of teaching others how others got to where they are.
Yeah.
Hopefully to be motivational to them. Okay. But it also helps me to reflect on where I come from. You know, I keep postponing writing my own book about my life and career. And this has actually helped me to say, maybe I can do it in the next few years.
We hope you do get to write that book. And we also appreciate you coming in. So that's the purpose of this whole podcast, is to share insights, but also obviously share the journeys of people who we just see high up in in their roles, but we know that they have different journeys where they come from. So thank you for making time. We know that that's not something that you have.
No.
Quite a lot.
For this one, it had to be done. One last lesson is that I was not born this age. Okay. People think, no, you're born this age. I learned. I learned. I also used to crawl. I used to cry. You know, I was taught how to eat. So, but people, you know, they usually make a mistake to say, no, it's privilege, as if you were lifted to where you are. No, everything has got its own steps. Everything has got its own steps. But thanks a lot to you, and good luck with the next ones that you're gonna interview. I'm sure you're enjoying your Sundays. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the NepoXchange Podcast. Remember to check out the next episode on our YouTube platform, as well as Spotify and other podcasting platforms. We are also available on social media as Nepoworx on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.